In today's episode, you'll find the Celestial Empire, where they've started selling digital human clones for the price of a smartphone that can read minds and produce text without being implanted in the brain. The godfather of artificial intelligence, Jeffrey Hinton, who left Google, thinks the introduction of artificial intelligence is dangerous. Car thieves learned how to steal cars with a Nokia 3310. A Chinese woman beat a robot with a stick. We'll also tell you about the private Hakuto R lunar module that went missing. All this and more right now. Here we go. The world's fastest garbage truck, a video of which was published on his YouTube channel by inventor-blogger Chris Collins, is being actively discussed on the web. He had long wanted to break the world record of his colleague Andy Jennings for the maximum speed of a garbage truck in 2021. The latter was able to accelerate it to 72.5 km/h. However, Chris surpassed him. Collins set the record at 101 km/h. He made the engine to be installed in the garbage truck so that there was room for it, and he did not forget about the wheels. He installed a steering wheel at the back to steer the garbage truck, and a bicycle wheel at the front, and disc brakes for the rear wheels. Third, he cut a window in the back of the garbage truck and glazed it. When the design was polished, Collins went to the Red Line racetrack to see if he could break the speed record with the lid closed. The garbage truck hit 99 km/h, and with the lid open, it hit the aforementioned 101 km/h. We start today with the Chinese company Tencent Cloud, which has launched a digital platform called DeepFX Easy Service. It allows you to create virtual images of realistic people based on data obtained in just 3 minutes of their communication with the AI. The platform has 5 different styles for creating clones: 3D realistic, 3D semi-realistic, 3D cartoon, 2D realistic, and 2D cartoon. The user can choose a background for the character, skin tone, and other settings. In addition, there is a function for creating answers to frequently asked questions, giving the digital character the function of a chatbot. According to the developers, it is enough to teach the models 100 times. The company plans to launch an automated factory to create digital characters that can be used to provide various services, including legal, trade at self-service points, and answer customers' questions 24/7. The developers claim that even with a small sample size, their models require no professional equipment and can reproduce realistic facial expressions and gestures. Tencent notes that its next-generation tone tuning technologies have improved the problem of monotone voice and flat intonation compared to traditional speech synthesis models. It also claims to be able to generate speech in English with only the Chinese sources. Today, the price of creating a digital copy in China is $145, and the production cycle of clones takes 24 hours. A video of an angry patient at Suzhou Medical University Hospital in China appeared on the Chinese social network Weibo. The video shows a woman armed with a stick beating a robotic assistant. She screams and appears to be threatening him. The footage quickly went viral on the internet and was posted on other social media platforms and messengers, including Russian ones. The exact reason for the patient's exasperation is unknown. Perhaps the robot did not answer the woman's questions for a long time, and the woman decided to teach him a lesson. She was beating it with extreme cruelty. The monitor and the case were damaged. Many pieces were flying in the direction. The hospital staff called the police. Details and motive are currently being clarified. Eyewitnesses believe that the woman had an exacerbation of mental illness, but so far this is only speculation. Jeffrey Hinton, a pioneer in artificial intelligence and longtime head of Google's investigative artificial intelligence unit, has resigned, citing growing concerns about the ethical implications of technology he himself helped create. Hinton had worked at Google for more than 10 years. He notified the company of his resignation in April, and last week he spoke directly with CEO Sundar Pichai. The academic joined Google after the search giant acquired the company founded by Hinton and 2 of his students. One of them later became OpenAI's chief scientist. Hinton and his students developed a neural network that learned to identify common objects like dogs, cats, and flowers after analyzing thousands of photos. In 2018, Hinton and 2 of his students won the Turing Prize for this seminal work, which led to the current boom in artificial intelligence. It was their research that eventually led to the creation of ChatGPT and Google Board. In a tweet, Hinton clarified his position. noting that he left Google not to criticize the company, but to talk about the dangers and not to think about how it affects Google. Google did very responsibly, he writes. Hinton is most concerned about the spread of information. He fears that in the long run, artificial intelligence could eliminate chores, and possibly humanity itself as it begins to write and run its own code. This thing really could become smarter than humans. Did you believe the extra people here? Most people thought it was a long way off. I thought it would be 30 years from now or even more. I don't think so now, Hinton said during the interview. Last year, there was news about stealing cars with modified speakers, but since then, the attackers have become more resourceful. Now all they need is a modified Nokia 3310 or other old phone to take control of the vehicle in seconds. The cell phone is more compact and much less conspicuous than a wireless speaker. These devices can reportedly be used to start Toyota, Lexus, Land Cruiser, and Maserati cars without a key. It is possible that this is not a complete list. Profile sites and Telegram channels offer such miracle gadgets for prices ranging from 2,500 to 18,000 euros. It is funny that the cost of components for phone modifications does not exceed $10. Sometimes they are called emergency starting devices for car locksmiths, but everyone understands that these are illegal devices for stealing cars. Some manufacturers of such devices even offer upgrades to keep them relevant when automakers issue the appropriate patches. Inside such a phone is a small motherboard, some other hardware and special software to connect the car to the vehicle's digital communication system and control the vehicle's electrical devices. According to experts, simple vulnerability fixes will not solve the problem, as attackers will simply update their software. Instead, more drastic measures are needed, such as the introduction of cryptographic protection for data exchange on the CAN bus. A new system based on artificial intelligence is able to read the image of an active human brain and convert it into a continuous stream of text already during training. And the first experiments have shown impressive results. Brain activity is measured with an fMRI scanner, and the resulting images are analyzed. And although the reproduced text is not a literal translation of what a person hears or says to himself, the technology captures the essence of the person's thoughts very well, and about half of the time it completely deciphers his phrases. For an invasive method, this is an amazing leap forward from all existing technologies that allow only single words or short sentences. Meanwhile, so far, the technology has a number of limitations. First, the patient currently needs to pre-train the algorithm himself, so that it learns to decode his thoughts correctly. So far, using the algorithm by another person produces inarticulate results. Second, the use of the method is limited by the need for fMRI. However, more simplified imaging options are already being explored. In December 2022, Japan's iSpace sent its spacecraft to the moon. On board, it almost reached its destination, but suddenly lost contact with Earth. As a result, the mission was deemed unsuccessful. The Hakuto R landing module was launched from Cape Canaveral, Florida, using a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket. Until the last moment, the flight proceeded without incident. However, a few minutes before the estimated time of landing on the surface of the moon, the company's engineers discovered that communication with the vehicle was lost. Takeshi Hakamada, general director of iSpace, said during a live broadcast of the mission that at present it was not possible to confirm the landing of the module, and therefore it should be considered that it did not take place. There is no confirmation yet that the machine crashed. A corresponding investigation is being conducted by the company. There is a high probability that the module made a hard landing on the surface of the moon. It was assumed that the Hakuto R module could become the first private spacecraft in history to make a successful landing on the moon. Along with it, a miniature lunar, created by engineers from the UAE, was sent to the Earth's satellite. The next mission of the private space company is scheduled for 2024. The Chinese Mars rover Juran has found evidence of liquid water on Mars in areas with relatively warm temperatures. This, in turn, makes these areas more suitable for life. Note that the statement itself is quite provocative, because until now, scientists believe that water on the red planet can exist only in solid or gaseous state. The fresh discovery indicates that there is likely to be evidence of ancient life and even potentially habitable areas. On the modern surface of the planet, Scientists believe that frost or snow on Mars repeatedly melted and froze, moving from the polar ice sheet to the equator. This led to the formation of crusts and cracks on the surface and left behind liquid salt water. The authors of the discovery suggest prioritizing salt-resistant microorganisms in future missions to find existing life on Mars.